instantly we just clicked. I heard a song the first time, I sang all the lyrics through and started from there.
Me and Brian, we were so young. I used to have my dad give me a ride to his house to hang out. He would show me little parts on guitar and crap. You know, we were like 15. Neither one of us had cars. He used to go back and forth. He'd come over to my house because he was a badass guitar player. You know, he still is. He's still like the highest talent in the band.
The roots of Korn go back to 1992 and the agricultural city of Bakersfield, California, a working-class neighbourhood located approximately 100 miles north of Los Angeles, where longtime friends and guitarists James Monkey Schaefer and Brian Head Welsh hooked up with bassist Reginald Fieldy Arvizu and drummer David Silveria to form a local rock band. Later relocating to LA, the band renamed themselves LAPD. After issuing a couple of records, LAPD duly disbanded. However, in 1993, guitarmen Brian Welsh and James Schaefer fatefully crossed paths with one Jonathan Davis, a former mortuary science student who had recently earned himself a degree at San Francisco's School of Mortuary Science. Davis was moonlighting at the time as the lead vocalist for a local group by the strange name of Sex Art, a band with which the soon-to-be Korn frontman's tenure had been short-lived. Davis actually only recorded one song with the band that can be found on a Bakersfield compilation called Cultivation 92, a very rare find indeed. During a return trip to their hometown, Welsh and Schaefer sauntered into a divey, dingy bar, one of the lesser lights of the Bakersfield music scene, where Sex Art was performing. Unbeknown to Davis, these former muso cronies from his junior high school days were about to offer him a new job. Though they didn't regard the band that highly, Sex Art had in fact been described in the local press as a bit of a dull-assed combo. They were impressed enough with their charismatic lead singer to phone him a week later and ask him to join an act they were putting together called Creep, with ex-LAPD cohorts David Silveria and Reginald Arvizu. Initially, Davis didn't want the gig. However, what probably lured him out of the morgue and onto the stage full-time was because an astrologer-cum-psychic had predicted years before that he would one day become notorious, if not downright famous, fronting a rock band, and she didn't even know he was a musician. That prophecy had obviously taken some sort of fertile seed in Davis's subconscious, so he went against his better judgment and auditioned for them anyway. Enticed by the prospect of moving to the seedy sights of LA, the new recruit accepted the seemingly lucrative offer, and within a month he was living and rehearsing with the Creepsters in Huntington Beach, California. Davis was immediately welcomed into the bosom of their dysfunctional family and set upon giving the group a new direction, as he himself explained later to Kerrang! Magazine in 1996. The band had a happier groove before I joined. I brought out the darker elements in them. Christening themselves Korn, with a deranged logo fashioned by Davis in a single setting, writing the band's name left-handed so as to resemble a Stephen King title, they hired a manager and began honing their sound. The chemistry seemed perfect. Together they began to create a fresh, virulent brand of rock marked by intense fat grooves with a heavy thumping bass and growling vocals. There are many stories as to how the band's name originated. However, the most believable is that Korn comes from a cross between Kern County, which is where Davis worked as a coroner. From that came Korn. It was then decided that it would be written like a child would write it, hence the K instead of a C, and the backwards R. Then there's the old faggot Felchin story, a name rumoured to have stuck when Davis overheard two homosexuals talking in detail about rogering each other at a party. There was also a country music radio station in Bakersfield with the call letters KORN that had numerous bumper stickers floating around in that area. So, who knows? Maybe the name just popped into their heads one day. After garnering a small local following in LA playing $2 kegger parties, Korn raised a few eyebrows at various record labels with a 4-track demo tape dubbed Niedermeyer's Mind. Lucrative offers soon came from the likes of Atlantic and RCA, but, although appealing, there was always a lingering fear within the ranks of having to conform to a label's needs or commercial desires, rather than being able to do what they wanted creatively. Eventually, it was executives at the tiny Immortal label, a division of Epic Records, who won the band over with their enthusiasm.